Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with wrestling pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's Wrestling Pedigree.
What's up, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling Pedigree Podcast. I'm your host, Matty. With me, I have two amazing people that has helped me throughout this podcast world. Chris and Eric from Wrestling Junkies podcast. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
First things first. I want your reactions to the news Fightful broke about Sheamus' contract. He is not renewing his contract. He's leaving WWE after it expires. What's your take on that news that broke earlier?
Yeah, Eric, you want to go first? You sent it to me.
Sure. Yeah, as always, Matty, thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure to get to catch up with you here a little bit. But yeah, no, this is I think it's a big story. I think that anytime that you're hearing about certain departures from WWE, New Day were certainly kind of the biggest shock of the year. I think that this one with Sheamus is also up there as well. The concept, it feels like, of being a lifer with WWE just seems to be a thing of the past at this point. I don't have all of the full details. I think the Fightful Select reported that there may have been some discussions around a contract restructuring of some kind. So he was probably asked to take a pay cut and declined, and has decided that they're not going to proceed with any sort of additional talks, potentially, unless there's a pay cut as part of that process. And Sheamus, rightfully declines. And at this point, it's exciting to kind of see what will happen next. Because this is a very different wrestling landscape than when Sheamus made his WWE debut. There are plenty of other options for him right now, and World of Wrestling is on fire. So there's no shortage of places that he could go work. But yeah, definitely a bit of a shock, and it stinks because he's missing exactly one accolade as he departs WWE into the Intercontinental Championship. He's done literally everything else except for that one title. But future Hall of Famer, I'm sure of that. But yeah, definitely a surprising piece of news to start the week.
Chris?
Yeah, I was looking up his accolades. So 3-time WWE champion, 1-time World Heavyweight champion, 1-time United States champion, 3-time United States champion, 5-time Tag Team champion, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, literally did all of it except for that IC title. And he's been on the shelf for the last couple months, years at this point, it kind of seems like, with various injuries. He's 48 years old, so we're not going to get prime Sheamus out there doing indies or maybe AEW or wherever he goes, but it'll be fun to see him do something different. I don't know what we're going to get from Sheamus. This could just be, hey, I didn't want to do this anymore. I want to do the kind of one-offs here and there. We don't know, but hell of a career. I mean, if you look at it compared to a lot of the other people leaving, like you said, are bona fide Hall of Famer. I mean, it should be first ballot, no doubt. First Irishman to win the WWE Championship. A lot of cool accolades. He came into a time where it was not a great point at WWE, right? Everybody was kind of bored of what the standard quo was, and he came in and kind of shocked us when he won that title at Extreme Rules from Cena, and it was just whoa, okay, we're here, and just never went away, and has just always been consistent and always been there. And we talk about tag team wrestling all the time. I guess the one thing I would like to see is him and Claudio team up one more time, right? Just do the bar. AEW is doing the whole reunion tour over there for all the tag teams. Give me one more. Just reunite the bar for me. Just let me see one more great match from the bar.
Is that why we're all thinking that Sheamus will go to AEW?
Probably. I mean, probably again, I don't know how much longer he's got left, but I don't see him doing much of like an indie tour. I don't know if that's what he would do. Maybe go back over and maybe do like a progress, something like that, maybe a few times or something like that. But I don't see him doing like GCW, for example. I don't think we'll see that level of indie.
Yeah, I think AEW's probably got to be the front runner for him, and it's. I know that people probably have thoughts on the jumping from one company to another and how often that happens, but that's the industry. That's how this has always been. It's just that for nearly 20 years there really wasn't much in the way of genuine competition and a genuine market because WWE had done what WWE does. But yeah, I don't see if he decides that he wants to continue wrestling. I think AEW is probably the best place to go do that, at least to get preserve the longevity of what time is left. I'm not really sure what his physical status is right now. I know he's on the shelf, but I don't know anything about whether he's actually nearing an in-ring return of any kind. But yeah, I think AEW is probably the front runner to just again come in and spend a couple of years there, have some fun on the way out.
Can we normalize this too? Like jumping brands, like LeBron's about to be on his 5th team. Like, can we stop?
Yeah.
Like normal sports, this is not a thing. This is free agency. And we just, who cares? Who cares what they're doing? Like people are going to jump ship all the time.
It's a business.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they need to make a paycheck. So they'll have to go to a different like promotion.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be surprised if he goes to TNA. I would not be surprised.
You see that too.
Let's get into this. I want to ask you guys, first things first, with Wrestling Junkies podcast, how did that start about?
Phew. That's bad that we both laughed.
That sounds like a bad story coming off.
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. So we were participating in a beer Olympics at a mutual friend's house. I had never met Eric before, to be completely honest. I don't think we'd ever talked. We may have said something in passing, but nothing like crazy. I had been there a little bit longer than Eric before Eric showed up, so I was already feeling pretty good by the time he got there. Shirt was off, and I thought that I was whispering to my wife, and I wasn't whispering. And I said, "Hey, that guy's got an Edge shirt on." And he was wearing a blue rated R superstar shirt on. I said, "That guy's got an Edge shirt on," and everybody heard me. So walked over, introduced myself. We started talking and chatting, and just found this mutual love for wrestling. And then he kind of one day was like, "Hey, we text about wrestling all the time. You want to start a podcast and just talk about it?" I'm like, "Why the fuck not?"
I think for some additional context, when we did meet, this was I think vaccines had maybe rolled out 2-3 weeks I think before that here in the States. So everybody was kind of starved for getting out and being social. So for being an outdoor backyard beer games, it was nice to get out, get some sunshine. And I'd known maybe 2 people at that particular event that day, but obviously added 3 and 4 with the podcast dad and the podcast mom. And I mean, here we are. This was one old podcast dad didn't think we'd make it past 5 episodes, and here we are at 535 or something like that. So it's not a bad little run for 3 years.
I mean, you guys are killing it. You guys are absolutely killing it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any moments since you've done like the 500 plus episodes where there have been moments think, holy shit, this has happened, or holy shit, we had this person on?
I mean, I know mine. I know mine where I was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. We sponsored a match with Landon Hale and Mustafa Ali in a promotion in Georgia for Action Wrestling over here in the States. And it was streamed live on IWTV, and had a great moment with Landon, and then got to meet Mustafa Ali backstage, and just the nicest guy, and just got to hang out and really, okay, this is something we can do. That was the moment for me where I'm like, all right, like I'm all in. Like, let's do this. Like, let's upgrade the gear. Let's upgrade. I got a new camera, got a new laptop, got a new mic. Like, everything was just, this is something we can do. Yeah, and and I'm certainly, Chris is certainly better at this than I am.
kind of sitting and taking stock in what we've done. I'm always kind of this has been great. I know that, we can do more. Let's continue to build and build and build. And I mean, it's one of the things where, I still think about when we were doing these over Zoom and these 2.5 hour episodes that were just, no one's listening to us talk for 2.5 hours or anything like that. And then we've refined our approach over the years. And next thing you know, we can say that we've interviewed your Alex Kanes of the world, your Suge D's, your Bear Bronsons, your Gallows and Andersons, your Preston Vances. Like, even as I'm saying these names, Jameson Shook, Jaden Newman, I say these names out of my mouth right now, and I still can't believe that we have done
Charles
this
Crowley.
and get to do this.
There's another
Charles
one.
Crowley. Yeah, it's just
Right after he won the Progress tournament. Like, we interviewed Charles Crowley. Like, whoa.
I know.
Cool.
I was the one. I think I was the one of the ones messaging you guys on that episode. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Is there been any like oh shit kind of moments, like not like interviewing or anything like that, but anything like technical or anything that wasn't meant to happen, but it was okay or it was really bad?
I think it was when we decided to go live.
Yeah. The things kind of changed when we made that decision, like to the point that it just for superstition reasons, we stopped saying I'm not going to say it. It's a T word. So basically, anytime we run into any sort of malfunction, was what I'll say.
Difficulties. Difficulties.
Yes. We've each had Wi-Fi cut out while we're in the middle of a stream, and just shit happens to where it's like, okay, one of us has to kind of vamp and pick things up as the other's getting set back up. But I think we're due for one of those. Usually, like we get one like once a quarter. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. Like, but I'm acknowledging that it just happens, No,
and I think it's fun to watch like the progress of what this podcast has become too, because my kids are when we started this, my kids were just born, so now my kids are 4 running around. You probably heard them earlier, so sorry. But it's one of those things that, like Eric said, sometimes we'll have an issue, and one of us will have to vamp for a minute, or I'll have to go be a dad for a second, and he'll have to vamp for a minute. So it's really cool to see that, and then it's cool to see my kids. They know more about YouTube than I do, but my daughter will have the phone and she'll kind of be watching clips or something while we're making dinner, and we'll pop up on the algorithm and she'll say, "Hey, look, Dad, that's the podcast." I'm like, "There it is. That's really cool." So that's one of those pinchy moments too.
That's so cool. I've got one question. We're gonna go into like your love for wrestling, but I'll ask this now because Lewis will probably have to leave soon. Question for the guests: who is your favorite tag team of all time?
Oof. That's a great question. Wow.
It is.
Man, let's say I've been watching wrestling since 97, 98. I was born in 94, so missed the golden era. But
I feel
I think it's the Hardys. I think it's always been the Hardys. I love the Hardys. Like that was who I grew up with. That was those TLCs, and just being able to watch both of them have their individual careers, and now coming full circle, they're the tag team champions again. Like that's really, really cool. Probably the Hardys for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same one. I started watching in 2000, so this was like, I think maybe 3 weeks before King of the Ring that year. So, Hardys, prevalent, and just something about them I was just enamored with right away. And then also, I think SummerSlam was kind of the first time I kind of realized the concept of a pay-per-view of they have one big event a month that they want people to watch. And I remember when they were explaining the concept of a TLC match, because I was still new to watching wrestling at the time, I'm thinking, all right, so the Hardys are going to get to climb and grab the belts with ladders. Does that mean that Edge and Christian, because they love using chairs, are they going to have to like concoct a structure to climb with chairs, and the Dudleys can only use what's going on here? But I know
that would have been more fun. That would have been more fun.
Would have been fun.
Yeah, but it's been it from there. And I mean, I've been a Jeff stan, and Podcast Dad has always there have been some things with Jeff in life that have led to some criticism, that certainly deservedly so, that Podcast Dad has levied. But they're goats. They seem to be in a great place right now, and I mean, we live in a world where the Hardys and Cope and Cage are tag team champions again, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
What made Wrestling Junkies podcast cover progress wrestling?
Eric, I think you set that one up.
That's the thing. I didn't even necessarily set that up myself. That was when they during the first WrestleMania in Vegas, they had reached out, asked if we could do some coverage on our show of what they were planning to do in Vegas. It just seemed like a no-brainer to do. So that we had the opportunity to talk to Crowley and Jay Joshua and I believe RP Davies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it just kind of it just kind of grew from there. I mean, we like. When we say Wrestling Junkies, like it's exactly what we mean. Is we can always find something that we want to watch that's wrestling related, whether it's a WWE or an AEW or TNA, MLW, Indies, like you name it. Like we're probably going to find something that we like about it, and it just Progress is just such a unique promotion in and of itself, not just with the presentation, but also the caliber of talent that you see, coming in and out. That it was a natural fit into what we were already talking about anyway.
What's the goals for Wrestling Junkies from in the for the future?
Dude, you threw it out in your intro, and I love it. Just positivity in wrestling, man. Like, the IWC sucks, and there will be times where we're negative on our show, but we're always respectful. And that's what we kind of want to do is have a positive environment, create that environment, and kind of put that spotlight on indie wrestling too. We had Aaron Williams on about a week ago. Yeah, Mr. Cincinnati, great interview. I couldn't make that one, but he said something great that it's like independent wrestling is so important for pro wrestling that there's so many places to work. There's so many wrestlers out there that you don't know. And that's what we're trying to do is, hey, maybe you watch us for an episode or two. Yeah. You find out that there's, we interview a wrestler and I don't know who that is. And you go check them out. You go check out that wrestling company. You go find somebody new. You go find a new favorite. Suge D was on the other day and said, I can't remember the exact quote. I'm sure you will, but like you can't have the big, buildings. You can't have the big skyscrapers without the underground, right? Independent wrestling is the lifeblood of pro wrestling. And we need to keep it positive, respect each other. Like look at where we are in the world. Yeah. It's been amazing to see what the World Cup has done. Quite honestly, and people just having fun. That's what we want to do. Just let's have fun. Let's enjoy wrestling because wrestling's an escape. It allows me to escape for a half hour, 45 minutes to talk to one of my best friends about wrestling. And that's what I want. I want it to be positive. I want it to be fun. That's at least my mission statement. I don't know about Eric's, but I want this to be fun again. Like I wrestling got into a weird spot with tribalism and crap that I don't like.
Yeah. And it's and I'm all for people that, they have what they watch, and that's understandable. It's not everybody's watching like a Game of Thrones or a, Yellowstone or something, but you're not seeing the same discourse as, oh, this drama is better than this other really big drama. You only really see that in pro wrestling. And, I understand that, because there is that blurring of fiction and reality that that's how the business has thrived and grown over the years is teasing those lines, but these are very real people at the end of the day this is what they do for a living. And seeing that when people have bad days in this particular profession can lead to a lot of online vitriol and a lot of negativity that is 9 times out of 10 unnecessary. And it's keyboard warriors that just want to say something for the sake of saying something and thinking that it's screaming it into the void, but that's not, in some ways, social media is not a real life, but it's not screaming into the void when people put that kind of stuff out there. And that's just not what we're really about here. It's just, we may not like everything that we see on TV every week, but we certainly find a way to talk about it in a way that is not detrimental or negative to the person behind those characters or, anything like that, because those are very real human beings with human feelings. Our job is to watch and talk about the product.
So we're exactly the same. Like, we just talk about wrestling positivity. We have rants. I have blowouts, but I do it. I do it in a respectful way where I'm not calling the actual person an asshole. I'm calling the character an asshole.
No,
but I think a lot of fans are blurred between the lines where they think the actual character is actually that same person. No, which is quite worrying.
And I think a ton of perspective for us. At least I'm gonna speak for myself. I don't want to speak for Eric, but since we've been doing this, and really gotten to know some of these, independent wrestlers that we talk to. Like, there are so many cool people out there. Like, wrestling is really cool, and the people behind the characters are really smart and really like engaging and just normal people. Like, and they're having fun too, and that's the whole point. It's like, this is, I don't want to say an elite society, but like, this is a club that you get to be in, is being a pro wrestling fan, because it's not for everybody. You have those people out there that make fun of you, or hell, we grew up with it. I'm sure Eric grew up with it. Like, why are you watching that? It's fake. You know that, right? Don't really give a shit. Like, I'm having a good time, and that's what I want. Let's have a good time watching this. The TV show you're watching, it's fake. Like, they're not really blowing up each other. Like, it's not happening. But wrestling is so much fun, and it's just an escape. Let me have my escape. That's it.
Yeah, best way. Actually, Chris, there is actually a question for you off topic before we get for you, your initial reaction to getting Jaylen Brown from White Celtics.
Well, consider it a fair trade because you got AJ Brown from my Eagles to the Patriots. So
that's actually really good.
Perfect response.
There was a meme that I sent around here. Let me see if I can find it. Philadelphia traded a 29-year-old disgruntled and possibly misunderstood dude named Brown in the prime of his career to the New England Patriots, and Boston turned around and sent one right back.
No,
fair trade.
Good. That's
fair
really
trade.
Good.
I love that. Eric, you said you started in 2000 watching wrestling. What made you start watching wrestling? Was it just on TV?
Yeah, I mean that was exactly it. It just I hadn't really before that. I had some friends in school that talked about it a little bit, but I wasn't necessarily picking up on it. And then I ended up kind of coincidentally turning it on, and it just TV never turned off. Even 26 years later. So it really was just that. Yeah, just to turn it on, and here I am.
Was it just WWE, or did you switch to the horrible WCW around that time in 2000?
I can count on one hand at that time before the closure that I watched WCW exactly once.
Oh,
and the only reason I turned it on, I remember, is because it was in Cincinnati. And the only thing that I remember about that episode, and I think this was Jeff Jarrett had a program with Booker T, and Jarrett grabs Booker T's then wife and just pulls her over the barricade, smashes her back of the head with a guitar. Like, that's the only spot that I remember. It was, again, because Nitro happened to be in Cincinnati that night.
I think that was his 1000th guitar broke since 2000 that time.
That month.
Was there any wrestlers growing up then, Eric, that you like massive fan of, you follow really religiously or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, Hardys were at the top of the list there. The Rock, obviously. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be drawn into that. And since I started watching while he was still on the shelf, the return of Austin after the neck surgery, and they were still kind of doing the whodunit storyline, so that was a lot of fun to kind of come into at the time. This is cool. I mean, I know who this guy is, but now there's this larger story that's going on, so it'll be cool to see kind of how this plays out.
Is there like a favorite match for you? Full time.
Oof.
Oh, all time, that's easy. Sean and Taker, 25. Yeah, that's just hands down. It's a nearly perfect match.
Is that the dive over the top rope that really fucked up?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. You can see you kind of blame the bloodline.
It's always the bloodline. It's always the bloodline.
Chris, you said you watched it in '97, so you lived through the beginning of Attitude Era.
I did. Yeah. So I'm like I think at this point a third generation wrestling fan. So my grandpa watched it, went to the shows. My mom, they grew up in Louisville, so they were part of that little territory. And my mom actually worked at like a Wendy's, and that was the only thing open after the show. So she met like Jeff Jarrett, she met Shawn Michaels, Marta Jannetty, like all those guys would come in to get food after the shows. So she had like Polaroids of pictures with her and the wrestlers. And then one day, I was over there, we were watching, and it hit me, right? I remember the first person that really caught my eye was Vader. He's my first action figure. That was the first guy that really caught my attention. And then, just dove headfirst in it. Attitude Era. Stayed probably up until about 2009, 2010, and then I took a little break because the product was not good. I didn't like it. Watched a little TNA for a little bit, but same thing. It was a little watered down. I came back actually when Sheamus won the Rumble, and just really dove right head first back into it. Discovered all the other stuff going on, like Indies, TNA, and then just went from there. But yeah, I've been watching it forever. I'm trying to think of early matches I liked. I remember it's a close second. My favorite is probably Shawn and Taker as well, but I really like Shawn and Taker from Bad Blood 90. Is it 98 or 97? I think the Hell in a Cell. I think it was 97.
97 October. Yeah.
That match, man. That match is one of the best matches I've ever seen. And as a kid, just loved it. And I remember having that DVD when I was younger. When you had DVDs, kids, when you would put it into the PlayStation, that was the one that always came up. I would watch that pay-per-view, and that match was just so good for me.
Unfortunately, I grew up with VHS.
I had those too.
Yeah.
I feel so old because I first started watching it in '92. So it's crazy how different eras and they just catch anyone and is get them hooked on wrestling. But
dude, the WWE Vault YouTube page. It is one of the best YouTube pages out there. It is so good. I watch at least one thing from that every day, and I'm starting to get my daughter into it a little bit. So I'm trying to find the good matches. We just watched TLC 3, the one with on Raw. So she's easing into it. So I'm trying to. She loves Danhausen, so that's always a popular one. She likes Roman, which whatever, but she doesn't know yet. She really likes Crowley too. I showed her some clips of Charles Crowley, and she really likes Crowley. So
hopefully not the promos; those get a little risque.
Yeah, I was gonna say
she doesn't understand.
Don't make her worse to come out with twat. For God's sake.
It's not the worst thing she said.
What's it? Obviously, I will say now, lifelong wrestling fans. What do you want to see in wrestling today?
Ooh, loaded question.
Yeah,
I really like the collaboration we're seeing. I want to see that continue, like where all these promotions are working together for a common goal, right? You see the collective with Action, and TWE and New Texas Pro, like you see
West Coast Pride Style,
West Coast, like that collective of, hey, we're trying to do something here. We're trying to make it viable for people to get up to the big time, right? Almost like a minor leagues, but I don't want to call the Indies a minor league because it's not, because you can make, just like Cardona has shown, just like Bear Bronson had shown, Gary J, like Shug D, for example, like you can make money on the Indies and do that. I just want those big two, let's call it what it is, AEW and WWE, to recognize that. And I think we've seen that with the partnership with TNA. Now TNA has the partnership with OVW, with AAA, with CMLL. Like there's so much wrestling out there that we support one another. These companies support one another. Like it can only make fun happen. And I think that's what has been really cool to see, because growing up, we didn't live in the territory era, but all we saw was the Vince McMahon era, where it was, we're number one. We're not even going to mention the competition.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing so many titles, on these shows. Like you're seeing in the AAA Heavyweight Championship on WWE television. That's really cool. Something I thought I'd never see. We saw the TNA World Champion wrestle at WrestleMania, like something I thought I would never see. So a lot of that cool collaboration stuff I'm enjoying, and I hope they keep doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the same thing, especially, because produced wrestling has been in the news as far as, comments made and thoughts about kind of how WWE ID's, program works. And, I think there were always more questions than answers about that concept. I mean, from the beginning, like it's much like anything that WWE does, is they have this great idea, they'll announce this initiative, and they're really behind it there for a while. And then, excuse me. And then, we've seen the stories of talent being pulled from other events and kind of the reactions to that stuff happening. And I don't think that should, deter anybody from wanting to sign those talents. It's certainly a risk. I mean, and that's always been the case in wrestling, excuse me. But I, from what we've seen, Produce has another great slate of shows coming up. Our friends at Action and TWE get to co-produce an event in September, I believe it was, when they dropped the schedule today. So it's pretty exciting for Matt Griffin and the crew down there, and hopefully we'll get to go check that out. But yeah, I think continuing to collaborate, it's more accessible than ever with basically everything moving to streaming. My AEW getting coming in and offering an alternative, I think is going to be huge if you're disillusioned with Triller, which I can be at times, admittedly so. But yeah, no, I think it's in a great spot right now because it's more accessible than ever before. We've got different promotions coming together. There's something for everybody on the indies, regardless of what you're a fan of. If you want more of the sports entertainment oriented product, you can find that out there. I mean, you can go watch a Progress for some of that. You're also going to get the great wrestling action. If you like death matches, you're going to find GCW or CZW or
at this point. I mean, Jameson Chick's doing it down there.
Yeah, like there is something for everybody out there, and I just think that we should take a little bit more time to sit back and enjoy it because there's just such a variety.
Is there a dream interview you guys want to have with a wrestler or a promoter or anyone like that?
Eric has one.
I've got a few.
Shot, man. You got the one. You got the one. We're gonna see him in a few weeks. Shoot your shot, man. We are gonna see him in a few weeks at SCI. Would love to sit down and have a conversation with Effie. I think that would be a lot of fun. This is ancient history, but before the Wrestling Junkies were a thing, I did attempt a podcast kind of pre-COVID, and ironically, Chris Van Vliet lived, kind of Cincinnati adjacent-ish, and this is, kind of when he's making that transition from kind of general media presenting to creating wrestling content at the time. So got to interview and have a beer with Chris Van Vliet. It's still one of the coolest things that I think that I've ever done. But yeah, no, Effie's definitely at the top of the list there. Trish Adora, I would love to have a conversation with too. Yeah. Duke Hanson, because I'm still just upset that I never got the heel turn when he was with JCU. I know it's not, but a guy can still dream. But yeah, no, I think, there's a much longer list, but I think those are kind of the top names that I have right now. So yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Man, before he blew up, and now we're never going to get to interview him. Like Danhausen would have been really cool to interview.
Yeah.
Just the whole story of all that, right? That would have been really cool. And then one that I don't think will ever happen, but I think it would just be so cool because he doesn't do interviews. Is Moxley, just because we're based out of Cincinnati, and that's where where he lives and where he's from, and he's trying to help bring an AEW show, a pay-per-view to Cincinnati. That would be a really, really fun one that I would have a great time doing just because of the local ties. And I remember watching him at a local indie in Hamilton, Ohio called HWA. It's shut down since, but him and Sammy Callahan used to be tag champs there. And that was a lot of fun to watch.
That's a violent tag team.
Yes, it was.
That's a violent tag team. Before I wrap this up, there's two more questions. One,
sure.
What do you think the AEW main event will be in the win? Chris?
Man, I keep seeing that triple threat thrown out, and I don't hate it. MJF, Ospreay, and Omega. I don't hate it.
No.
Selfishly, I really want Omega and Ospreay because I just want that one final big Kenny Omega match. Like he's not what he used to be. Like age is caught up, injuries. He's had some health things, but really giving Ospreay that big final huge banger of a match at Wembley and then crowning Ospreay as that champion would be, not a better story you could tell, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's certainly nothing against MJF. It's just that realistically, we have in a perfect world, if we're lucky, at least another 2 decades with MJF. That we've seen what he can do with Kenny Omega. We've seen what he can do with Will Ospreay. He's already a 3-time world champion before the age of 30. Only 7 other men have ever done that in the history of this industry. He is incredible, but I don't think that he needs to necessarily be in every major main event discussion, because even if he's not world champion, if you get a match with MJF at All In, that's an attraction match. MJF very much has that clout and that status and that the influence that, again, All In's kind of their equivalent to WrestleMania. MJF is kind of their equivalent to the Undertaker if they really want it to be, where the match is the spectacle there. You don't need a championship to add to get a great MJF match. You just need a good fucking story.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I didn't say Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania.
Shut the fuck up. That's that. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that.
I'm just saying.
Last question. So obviously, I know you two is because of Hitting the Turnbuckle created a wrestling podcast, Prediction League, which you guys are kicking my ass at the moment. Because I live through the hard, not the brain. However, comeback coming. How do you feel about other podcasts collabing and other stuff like this?
Yeah, dude, it's same thing as these wrestling companies, man. Like, if I can find cool people, and we've made I don't know how many friends out of this, and a lot of cool people we've met through other podcasts. Again, if you're here to spread positivity, like the New Day would say, like the power of positivity, right? Thank you, and come hang out. Like, I love doing this. I truly do love doing this. I love talking to people, and I love getting to know other wrestling fans because, like I said earlier, it's I don't want to say it's a small knit community, but wrestling's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And when you find really cool people, like I found Mr. Cincinnati, and I'm gonna give him his flowers. When you find cool people and they want to discuss stuff with you and they want to have fun talking about wrestling, bring it on. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people see that a lot, that we try to find. Excuse me. We try to find people that either be guests or join their shows as frequently as we can, as far as our bandwidth allows, just because we're we still have very real lives, and Val's just another one of those just incredible people that we've met through the wacky world of pro wrestling. That we go to an indie show, we're hoping that we run into Val. So we always love sitting down and chatting with people, and just we love talking good wrestling and want to do that with people that again can enjoy the product but don't want to bring it down to the level of the tribalistic bullshit that can sometimes come with our esteemed internet wrestling community.
Basically,
be a twat.
Yeah, basically,
pretty much. Yeah,
enjoy the wrestling, but don't be a dick. Basically,
yeah.
Very simple.
We have a T-shirt for that. For that, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Where can people find you guys? I will start with Eric first because he's used to doing this.
I appreciate that. Thank you again, as always, for having us. I wish you a lot of luck in the next 6 months of the Podcast Prediction League. However, I want to hold on to our spot because we're not that far from number one. So I'm thinking redemption could turn things around for us. But you can find us.
I think Adam's cheating. I'm putting out there now. I think Adam is corrupting.
Hey, no, third place is good too.
Yeah, and actually, I feel like this is an appropriate time to show because I didn't even tell Chris this yet. Adam messaged me the other day. I guess he didn't realize when I sent over the screenshots of our predictions, he thought I left out Forbidden Door entirely, and I had to go back and double check the message and say like, no, it's here, it's here. But yeah, no, that we would have taken a huge fall from second. But,
so we're gonna keep moving up. Got it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can find us on X, TikTok, and Buzzer at Junkies Pod. Like us on Facebook. We're at Wrestling Junkies Pod on Instagram. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the most important one. We're trying to grow our community. There's plenty of room at this table, so pull up a seat. Podcast Dad, you want to hit him with the magic number?
Yeah, one. Just tell one person if you like what we're doing here. Just come hang out with us. Subscribe to the YouTube. Like I said, hop in the chats, ask me questions. I'll answer the Celtics questions. I hate the Celtics. I hate everything Boston. Like, come hang out. We want to have fun. I hate everything New York too. So,
So you were getting over, and then you ruined it.
Don't worry, I'm always over.
I will admit, when I need advice, I do message you guys, and you guys help me a lot. So I do appreciate what you've done for me for the last 6 months.
Of course.
No, just having fun, man.
Yeah, we want to see everybody grow.
Exactly. And so with that, you can find Wrestling Pedigree, social media, Facebook, YouTube. I'm on X with Matt EW freaking A. And yeah, with that, I'll let you gentlemen go, and I'll bid you adieu and enjoy your professional wrestling.